comment, rate, subscribe. Merch in the description. Check out our Facebook pages. We got marketplaces you can buy and sell stuff on.
So this is my Hatchhyack board control deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Demon God Demigra True Power Unleashed. 4 Oceana Shenron. 4 Black Massane Splinter Mind. 4 Deadly Defender Goku. 4 Dr. Ledger Departed Spirit. 4 Finn. 4 Goku The Adventure Begins. 4 4-star Ball. 4 Instant Transmission 10 times Kamehameha. 4 Protector of the People. 4 SS4 Bardock Spirit Resonance. 4 Golden Frieza Unison of Malice. 4 King Vegeta Invasion's Command. 4 copies of Super Saiyan 3 Nappa Golden Invader. And 4 copy of Vegeta Resolute Agent of Destruction. Right off the bat, for those who want to awaken their leader, you can just, charge 3 blacks the first 3 turns, awaken on turn 3, and then on turn 4 start charging green so you can use your green unisons. Or you can start off charging green and play the unisons sooner than later. The choice is yours. So the defensive cards of the deck, of course, is Protect of the People, Instant Transmission 10 Saiyan Kamehameha. You can count the 4-star Ball as defense because you'll be using it to combo. And with Goku constantly, Adventure Begins constantly giving it back to you, you can keep comboing it, keep getting it back to keep using it to combo defensively. Of course, we have Deadly Defender Goku. That is your, your Deadly Defender, right? To protect your leader, make all the attacks go to him. And if you use the 4-star Ball to try to keep him in play longer, you can, take more hits so your leader doesn't have to. And Dr. Leche Departed, a reusable blocker that you can play from your drop area. And when you play him, you mill 2 cards on top of your deck. Keep that in mind, because you don't want to, deck yourself accidentally. Then we have Counterattack Blocker from Oceana. She can negate an attack, and she's a blocker, so she can stop potentially 2 attacks. And she has the permanent where she only costs 2 on your opponent's turn. And if you played a card before you play this, whenever your opponent attacks, they mill 4 cards from the top of their deck. So it might slow them down. It might make them reconsider attacking, so you could potentially get an extra turn because your opponent didn't attack you that turn. And we got Demon God Demigra. He has Overwhelm 5. He has Dark Overwhelm 5, so you can choose whichever Overwhelm method you want to use. Dark Overwhelm 5 means you have to have 5 or more black cards in your drop, and then you warp them in order to play this, and you pay 2 to play them. Or you Overwhelm 5, which just means you just gotta have 5 cards in your drop, period, and then you can just overwhelm, send them to the warp, and and you have to pay 2 to play this. The difference between Overwhelm and Dark Overwhelm is that Overwhelm means this battle card will be warped at the end of the turn, but Dark Overwhelm means this card will stay at the end of the turn. So choose wisely. It is a 5 drop, so you can just hard cast it for 5. So that's another plus for the card. But depends, what you want to do with it. Auto, when this card is played using Overwhelm or Dark Overwhelm, draw 1 card, so it replaces itself. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the owner's warp, which is nice. It just can warp anything, so that's always good. So that right there helps you further with the board control, right? Keeping battle cards off the board, especially any battle card that can attack more than once, any battle card that has double strike, triple strike, that kind of stuff. Second auto, when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and sends it to warp. So there's a bit of hand control with him. So there's that. And then we do have Nappa and King Vegeta. They both have +1 abilities that makes your opponent either Vegeta makes them discard a card from their hand, and Nappa makes them warp a card from their hand. So you can take advantage of that. So it's up to you which one to do, discard or warp. Warp is usually the better choice, right? But Vegeta also has the ability to ignore barrier and KO, something that definitely comes in handy. There are some problematic battle cards that has barrier you want to get rid of. Let's say your opponent has a Deadly Defender of their own, you want to get rid of it, bang, use King Vegeta to do so, right? Golden Frieza has some good synergy with the leader. Mainly it's in the deck more so for its -2, but it is helpful that it has crit. Like, it has the ability to gain crit by drawing a card, then choosing a card from your hand, put it on top of your deck, in order for this card to get crit. So you can take advantage of that so that your opponent doesn't plus from you dealing them damage. Further, increasing the hand control aspect of the deck. And then, sorry, and then the fact that if you go the unawakening route, you'll be able to use his effect first, right? Draw a card, take a card. You don't care that what happens to it, right? Put it on top of your deck. Then use the leader's active main ability to take the top card of the deck, put it under him, then mill a card from the top of your deck, and then draw a card. So you can use these two, this with the unawakened leader in that way. This has the -2 ability where until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one card in their battle area with energy cost 2 or more and place it into a drop area. So further floodgating your opponent. Your opponent is already limited to how many battle cards they can attack with the leader. This just further makes it hard for them to attack in general because they have to give up something in order to attack, and that's every time they attack. So even if they have something that has like triple attack, for example, they have to get rid of 3 battle cards on their side of the field in order to attack those 3 times. So that's nice synergy there with the leader. In case somebody, because that's the thing, most people try to circumvent the leader's abilities by playing dual attacks, triple attacks, right? So having stuff that makes it where it's like, well, it's going to cost you to try to attack more than once. So there's that. This Bardic has a similar effect. So we got 8 cards in the deck that has roughly the same type of -2, roughly, right? Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one card in their hand and send it to the into the warp for each time. So this further goes with the hand destruction. This kind of helps with board control. If your opponent does attack, they have to get rid of a battle card. So a bit of board control there. So the choice is yours which one you want to use. Of course, Bardic with his +1 ability lets you draw, so it definitely helps, especially if you don't awaken, because one of the things I always consider that if a leader doesn't draw, then I always I definitely love the fact that there's unisons that let you draw, especially +1 draw. I tried long ago when they first came up with a 2-drop unison that it was -1 to draw. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. When they created Piccolo Jr., which was +1 to draw, then it worked. I'm like, yes, that works, because now I can at least get 2 turns, potentially 2, maybe 3 turns to draw off the card. The -1 version, I play it -1, draw, my opponent's turn, bang, they kill it. Like, yep, it only lasted for 1 turn. For all that, I might as well play a super combo and draw a card, right? So there's that. But yeah. The leader, you should know the ability. When a battle card attacks, anything that's 7 costs or less and is a token can't attack. So anything 8 and higher can. In this deck, you're limited to leader, unison, and battle card swings. There's no dual attack in this deck. So pretty much 3 attacks is your max. But that's okay, right? Because you will take full advantage of that as long as you're reducing your opponent to like 1 or 2 or no attacks, right? You good just swinging 3 attacks a turn, or even 2 attacks a turn. I did say leader swing earlier. If you don't awaken, then there is no leader swing, obviously. But if you do awaken, then there is a leader swing. So if you don't awaken, then you're limited to unison and battle card. At least 1 battle card swing, obviously. But again, you're very defensive. Therefore, you attacking less is not that big of a deal, because you're going to be trying to apply pressure, and then using some of the hand destruction capabilities of the deck, you're making it harder for your opponent to be defensive enough that at some point the attacks are going to go through. And that's the end of the video. Of course, if you have more than 1 Goku, Adventure Begins in play, you can use their active main for each copy, so you can grab multiple copies of 4-star ball, use them to combo defensively, and then always get them back. Also comes in handy if you want to discard it for the effect. Wait, not for that effect. For Oceanus, you have to discard to play her player ability. Protector of the People, you have to discard to play this card's ability. So, so yeah, that's the thing. So keep that in mind. This is good discard fodder, is what I'm saying. And that's the end of the video.